Hey, Melidian, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to review a movie called Red Tails. Now, what happened? Wait a second. That's a lie. That's funny. No, I was reviewing the movie Red Tails, and what happened was, um, we were going to play D&D, and then everyone has different schedules with the holidays and stuff like that. Especially after Christmas, no one's playing D&D. We usually played Saturday night. John and Dan were talking. The Dungeon Master Dan, who lives in South Dakota, and John and I don't live too far apart. And John stopped over and dropped off some cool stuff, including Pickle's Pig Feet. So I'll be doing a review of that sometime. I don't know when though, but sometime. Anyways, when we talked about that, we talked about having a watch party, and we'd look on Amazon Prime and then look at Disney Plus, and they have like a watch a group party, and I did it over the. I didn't do it on the Roku. I don't know if you have to do we saw, but I did it on the laptop. Sometimes it's a little bit easier, and it was cool. We had a group watch by me, John, and Dan, and then you had to control. You could pause it if you want to, if you had to use the bathroom. You know what I mean? That's great. I didn't have to pause it. I didn't have to use the bathroom. It's a movie that's over 2 hours. Well, anyways, I haven't done too many watch parties. I know. I mean, as like a YouTube or computer collective stuff like that. I mean, I've watched movies with other people before, like in groups, like in the army and stuff like that. Anyways, I think the only other time I've done like a watch party, I know former friends of mine, Whitfields, they did a thing for Beetlejuice, and it was on Tubi TV. But it was tough because they would do a live stream. I mean, they would do a watch party, and then they would talk during the movie and like have discussion. And so I just watched the movie. I kind of like turned out. I'd still watch the movie with them, but I watched the movie. It was tough for me to. I like to focus on the movie, or just like with Trash Picture Show, they were doing watching Giant Gila Monster, and that's a classic cheesy '50s movie. But I remember that really well, or maybe early '60s black and white monster movie. And they were talking, and it's tough for me to focus on doing that. But I mean, I remember that song "Laugh, Children Laugh," which kind of stays in your head. But that's on YouTube. That's a public domain movie, and I remember my friend Dave Mag, and his other friend were watching Boarding House. 80. Now that's a very cheesy shot on video movie, but I love Boarding House. It actually played in the theater, believe it or not. I saw it on Paragon Home Video. Um, but this is the very first time. I mean, we did one. It didn't have a chat option. Well, we were talking on Roll 20 before that, and then when we started, we left Roll 20 because you could hear like the movie come from other people's speakers. But um, when I we did watch it, we watched it. It was a 2 hour movie, and we chatted a little bit on Facebook. Pretty much, I stayed on there. Then I chatted a little bit with my sister too, because you said some stuff. Uh, and what happened was, oh, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, the movie is called Red Tails, not confused with Ducktales. Woohoo! And it was off. We decided to do one on Disney Plus. I guess with Amazon, it had like the chat option, but they didn't have a chat option this time. But I mean, a lot of times that's so distracting. I like to focus on the movie. And it was a movie that George Lucas couldn't have that had a heck of a time having made. He wanted to make forever. He had raised the money himself called Red Tails about Tuskegee Airmen, a World War II movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. in there and Trevor Howard in there and some other people. And Bryan Cranston was in it. And it was a really interesting movie, and it was fun. I know Dan was a big. Well, I mean, I think we all are like buffs on history. So Dan's a big buff on history. His buff on history buff. It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I mean, but he had George Lucas had a heck of a time, man. I remember seeing trailers for it. It was 2012. I think my dad might have been saying like, I don't know, I don't know if the ad campaign may have not looked as interesting because it didn't do well. It was like the budget like 58, $59 million, and domestically it ended up grossing 50 million. So I mean, sort of. I mean, but over time, so I didn't do very well. And I finally said it was on Disney Plus. It's not a bad movie. I liked it. It's just kind of an old-fashioned one movie. A little bit. Sometimes the character is a little bit it's a little bit silly. I mean, yeah, just stoic with the pipe and stuff. I mean, a little bit. I mean, but it's a great movie. It's a really good. The battle scenes are fantastic. Great use of CGI. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big CGI fan, but it works. Well, when it works good, it does work, and it worked well here. I like Red Tails. Woo! And I give it a, it's PG-13. I give it a 8 out of 10. So I mean, and it was really cool being able to watch party with John, myself, and Dan. I mean, could be. I mean, if there's another time when we can all get together to do D&D, I mean, we could do something like this too. Watch party, it's fantastic. It's really cool. I just did it on my little laptop that I'm recording this right here, and I wanted to do a review of the movie. But like I said, I mean, it didn't do well. But I mean, some movies just don't do well. Now I know with Titanic, James Cameron ended up mortgaging his house and putting all the money for that, but that was a huge hit. This one was the opposite, but okay. So hope you like this video, everybody, of Red Tails. Woo! Until next time, everybody, please take care of my legion. Okay.